Thank you. So thank you, Amy. So what we're going to do is very briefly, each group is going to have about 5 minutes to just do a report out and tell us how things are going, what's going on with your group. And then after that, we're going to have just a little bit of time if there's any outstanding questions. So I thought we would start with economic challenges. So is one of the co-chairs available or someone else who'd like to just report out and let us know the progress of what's going on with your group?
Rebecca, do you want to, or do you want me to?
I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
So we had a great conversation around a list of preliminary ideas. Susan and I brought 5 or 6 ideas to the group as a starting point that was mined from the list that Leslie went through, that list that was created from feedback from phase 1 and brainstorming sessions and so on. And so we, from that list, brought 5 or 6 ideas to the team, and then the team spent the majority of the time adding to that list other ideas and recommendations that we should spend time talking about and exploring. We will be doing some work between now and our next meeting on the 17th that involves, we'll have to take the ideas through the review against the ARPA guidelines to make sure that everything is within those parameters. We'll make sure that there's no redundancies, no duplication of services. And then once we get through that exercise, we'll have our group go through a rating exercise to evaluate each of the ideas against the goals of the project. And hopefully by the time we get through this process and we meet again on the 17th, we'll have some ideas bubble to the surface as some of the higher areas of priority. And if we're successful, then we'll be able to break into some small teams and do the heavy lifting of researching and developing them. Susan, did I miss anything?
That was great. Thanks, Rebecca.
Sounds like a very fruitful meeting. Thank you very much. Paul, do you want to do the housing affordability update?
Yes, certainly. So in our group, similarly, Karen and I, put together for the presentation, we organized kind of the ideas into buckets of work. So we identified kind of 5 major areas of possible actions we could take, and then kind of populated those buckets with some of the very specific ideas that were presented. So we presented that to our group, had some discussion focused around that, discussed some things that would need to be changed, some things that maybe had been omitted, and then really had some discussion about a lot of just questions about how a lot of the ideas that were there, such as land trusts or housing trust, land banking, different forms of financial assistance would, whether or not they would qualify for ARPA funding. And from there, our plan is to basically build out a document based on those buckets for folks to provide input. So to provide additional IT ideas or to flesh out those ideas. And we didn't make it quite as far as sounds like economic challenges did, but I think that idea of then trying to work off of that to start talking about prioritizing ideas after that sounds like a step that we would likely take to have a more kind of informed view of some real top choices as we gather for our next meeting. And Karen, I don't know if you would add anything to that. Oh, you're muted, Karen.
No, thank you. I think you did a great job. I did just want to mention that, we're putting the equity lens on all of our buckets. So even though we had a separate bucket for equity, that is going to pour into each one of our buckets. So want to use that lens for everything we consider in our recommendations. And now for the mental health and social resilience group, is Katrina or Robin available to do a report?
I will do that report. Robin and I started with about 4 themes for mental health. And then the group talked about many different, many different sub-themes and programs and projects that come under those themes. And we have a very long list. It was an amazing, wonderful conversation. And we're going to work as homework in prioritizing them and coming up with some specific ideas and coming back at the next meeting to start digging into making them transformational and sustainable and equitable, and hopefully we can make that all get together concisely. It's a great conversation though.
Robin, are you on, and did you have anything to add? She might have popped off.
No, I'm here.
Oh, anything to add?
No, Katrina succinctly described a very rich 2 hours. Thank you.
Wonderful. So now we have a little bit of time left. If there's any questions or comments that anyone would like to share at this time, just go ahead and raise your hand and we'll call on you.
There's already a hand up.
You know, I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Sorry. Oh,
Oh,
Anne Marie.
it's on the top
Anne
left.
Marie.
That's an old hand that I didn't take down. Sorry.
Maybe I can just ask a question.
Julie?
Oh, go
Julie,
ahead,
you have a
Julie.
question or a comment?
One quick question. I have our next meeting and I will be back in town, but because I'm using a personal email and usually communications are going to work, I just want to make sure that there won't be any immediate attention needed before March 7 for me.
I
Does
think
that sound
that's
good?
up to your co-host. I'm sorry, your co-lead.
Yeah,
I saw March 16.
right. We will be sending out homework by the end of this week. If you want it sent to a different address, just let us know. And if not, you can catch up. Since we haven't really set it all up, we don't know what those little deadlines and things will be. So it may be that everything works out perfect. But if you want us to send it somewhere different so you can jump in earlier, just let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there aren't any more questions or comments, then I'll just turn it over to Amy.
I'll just ask a question. Is there anything that you think you need to do your jobs of being active members in the working group that we haven't supplied to you yet? You can tell us now, or you can send us an email. We want you to do the best that you can, and we're going to enable you to do that. Julie, Michael, Jenna, are these answers to my question? Maybe Julie, it looks like you're first. Unless that's the old hand. It's the old hand. Okay, Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, I was curious about finding out a little bit more about the specific goals for the next two meetings, what we're hoping to accomplish during those meetings, so that we have a heads up for how best to be doing our research and our homework task in the interim. I'm still a little confused about more specifically what we're going to try and accomplish during each meeting, and was hoping to see a bit more detail.
Absolutely, I can give you kind of the big view, and then your co-leads, it's truthfully up to them. But by the third meeting, we hope that you will reach 1 to 3 ideas of recommendations, approximately how much you would like invested in them. the reasons why, who are the potential stakeholders that might be involved or experts that you might want to talk to. And then at the end of the third meeting, it's going to go to the county staff to do additional vetting. And then we have scheduled already a meeting with the BOCC on May 2nd or 3rd, Johanna? No, it's in your welcome. May 3rd, which will be the final presentation to BOCC, and then they will make their determinations. So between now and the third meeting, we hope that you narrow down pretty significantly by the next meeting of where you're going to focus, and use the time between meeting number 2 and meeting number 3 to really vet the ideas and figure out how you would like it implemented to be the most transformational. We know that you won't have all the information in just 3 meetings, but want to give enough, let's say, enough of a jumping off point for the Boulder staff to be able to jump in and then take it to the place where it will need to be for the presentation to BOCC. And everyone is invited to that presentation. Any follow-up questions to that, Michael?
No, that's great.
Okay. The next meeting, we're going to share, the co-leads are going to share the actual deliverables, which will be done by the third meeting, but it's really nothing more than I've already said. Any other needs or questions about the process? Or any ways that we can help you? Commissioners, is there anything that you want to add at the end of the day? I don't want to put you on the spot. If it's no, it's no, but if you'd like to, we'll have some moments. Go ahead, Commissioner Levy.
Yeah, thanks. Have you ever heard a elected official say no when offered an
I
opportunity
know.
to speak? Come on. No, I'm just going to thank everybody for being here. It was a long day. It was a lot to ask you to block off a day, but when this process is done, we're going to be doing some things that are going to be really important that we can't do without you. And so I just want to thank everybody at the front end of the process for what you're going to do for the people of Boulder County. And yeah, our conversation in housing was so good, and the ideas were so rich that I just know we're going to do great work together.
I'll just jump in really quick. Similarly, thank you all. And I want to just, this was a lot of work, especially on virtual, to not be able to be in person and rub elbows and compare Post-it notes. It's just not the same. And yet this is really vital work. And so I just want to say thank you. Our conversation was like brainstorm and, get back to the federal guidelines. And I do want to remind folks that we're talking about millions of dollars of opportunity to transform our community. And I say that because, especially in the nonprofit world, especially for folks who've been most impacted, our tendency, and I'm speaking right now as a community member and a person of color in Boulder County who's worked with families in different systems, we are like acostumbrados a las migas. And so we need to get out of the mindset, because we are not talking about the last crumbs here. We have together an opportunity to do transformative change and to respond in big ways. So that's hard for a lot of us because we're used to going after a grant, and all these organizations on the screen could possibly be fighting for the same grants in Boulder County. So let's really burst in with that. What have we not done before? What haven't we tried? We have programs, we have platforms, we have partnerships, and this is an opportunity to really challenge the way that it's always been done. And I'm excited for all of you to be part of this conversation, to bring in some of your networks and the research you're seeing So thank you, thank you. It's really appreciated. And it's an exciting opportunity for all of us.
Thank you. And I just, last thanks is to the co-chairs for stepping up, to the agency leads and to the ARPA steering committee. Thank you so much. I know how much work you've put into this in the past couple of weeks and absolutely appreciate it. We will let you go a few minutes early so you can enjoy your afternoon, and we'll be talking to you over email. Have a great night. Oh, wait,
I just want to
Johanna.
give sorry, just a quick clarification so everyone is aware of when some of these follow-ups will come out, because I realize the cloud recording, it says, does take double the time of the meeting to process. So it's going to be a little while. And so you can expect tomorrow to start seeing those meeting notes, those follow-ups, things like that. But for now, just enjoy the rest of your evening and take a break, please, from a computer and rest your eyes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.